Previous educator and recuperating alcoholic Jack Torrance interviews for a Guardian work at the Overlook Hotel with an end goal to remake his life after his unpredictable attitude lost him his instructing position. The inn director, Mr. Stuart Ullman, cautions Jack that he and his family will be snowbound through the greater part of the colder time of year and of the possible gamble for restlessness. He effectively expresses the idea by relating a season when the overseer, Charles Grady, went off the deep end and mercilessly killed his significant other, his two young ladies, Lisa Burns and Louise Burns, lastly himself. Offered his own distress and the chance to seek after his actual enthusiasm, composing, Jack recognizes the admonition, yet acknowledges the work. In the interim, Jack's child Danny has a seizure while conversing with his fanciful companion Tony about the Overlook Hotel. He has a dream of blood sprinkling out of a lift in the lodging, a picture which is returned to a few times all through the film. Upon Danny's landing in the inn, head gourmet specialist Dick Halloran perceives that Danny is clairvoyant, and addresses him intellectually to offer him some frozen yogurt. It makes sense that he and his grandma both had the gift, she alluded to this correspondence as sparkling. He likewise directs Danny about the inn, indicating that something horrible had occurred there and left to follow, as though somebody consumed toast, which just individuals who can sparkle will see. Danny questions Dick about what happened in the lodging, and about room 237 specifically, as Danny can detect that Dick is particularly scared of that room. However, he endeavors to guarantee Danny that the pictures he finds in the inn are simply like pictures in a book and can't hurt him. Dick harshly cautions Danny to avoid that room. Jack's psychological well-being weakens quickly once the family is distant from everyone else in the lodging. He has an inability to write, dozes nearly nothing, and is peevish. Danny has dreams of the two killed Grady young ladies, however tells nobody. He keeps on pondering room 237. While the weather conditions are still generally warm, Jack's significant other Wendy and Danny stroll through a labyrinth of tall supports, making a game out of it, halting at impasses and fixing their slip-ups. At some point, a ball rolls toward Danny as he plays with his toys. It seems to have come from the entryway of room 237, which Danny enters. At that point, Wendy comes running from the storm cellar at Jack's shouts in the parlor. He tells her that he had a bad dream where he utilized a hatchet to hack Danny and her to pieces. As a vexed Wendy guarantees that all will be great, Danny shows up at the opposite end of the room, looking perplexed and sucking his thumb. His sweater is torn and there are wounds on his neck. He doesn't answer when Wendy asks what occurred. She furiously blames Jack for harming Danny and returns the kid to their suite. Jack is incensed about the allegation. He storms around the inn, advancing toward the gold ballroom. Sinking defeatedly onto a stool at an unfilled bar, his head in his grasp, Jack pronounces that he would sell his spirit for one beverage. At the point when he looks into it, he finds a barkeep, who serves him a beverage. Jack is baffled by the unexpected appearance of the barkeep and even tends to him by his name, Lloyd. Overtelling his inconveniences to Lloyd, Jack uncovers that he unexpectedly disengaged Danny's shoulder, a similar mishap Wendy referenced to Danny's pediatrician before. Eminently, Jack expresses that the injury happened a long time back, while in making sense of a similar story for the pediatrician, Wendy said that Jack, who promised to stop drinking promptly following the mishap, has presently been clear-headed for just 5 months. A wild-eyed Wendy enters, finding Jack apparently alone at the bar. She begs him to research Danny's case that an insane lady went after him in the bath of room 237. Jack, who acts a piece loaded, hesitantly consents to go see. As Jack moves toward the way to room 237, Danny has all the earmarks of having a seizure in his own room. Dick, back at his home in Florida, gazes wide-looked at as he gets on a sign Danny is sending. Jack warily goes into room 237. The room is vacant and he continues to the washroom. He observes obscenely as a youthful, lovely, stripped lady pulls back the shower shade and steps gradually out of the bath. The two methodology one another and embrace in an energetic kiss. Jack gets a brief look at their appearance in the mirror and sees the lady is really a decaying carcass. He pulls back with sickening apprehension. The young woman remaining before him has changed into an old lady, a mobile body with spoiled, listing skin. She clucks frantically while going after him with outstretched arms. Shocked, Jack stumbles out of the room, locking the entryway after him. At the point when he reports back to Wendy, Jack denies anything awry in room 237. Wendy proposes they take Danny to a specialist. Jack becomes perturbed, addressing Wendy on her neglectfulness and faulting her for all that has turned out badly in his life. Demanding that they can't pass on the lodging in light of his commitment to his managers, he stomps out, getting back to the Gold Room, which is currently the location of a luxurious party with visitors wearing 1920s design. Lloyd serves him a beverage and Jack walks around the group. He doesn't get far when a steward conveying a plate runs into him, spilling Advocat on his coat. The steward persuades Jack to come into the washroom to tidy up. The steward presents himself as Delbert Grady. Jack recalls the story Mr. Ullman educated him concerning a previous guardian named Grady killing his family and stands up to Grady with the data. Grady rejects that anything of the sort occurred and moreover demands that Jack has forever been the overseer. Jack is confused, yet appears to acknowledge Grady's story. Grady proceeds to let Jack know that Danny has an extraordinary ability and is utilizing it to bring an outside party into the circumstance, alluding to Dick Halloran with a racial slur. Grady encourages Jack on the best way to right Danny and how to manage Wendy on the off chance that she meddles. Back in Florida, Dick has had no karma reaching individuals at the Overlook Hotel. Stressed over Danny, he books the following trip to Colorado. At the Overlook, Wendy arms herself with a home run stick and searches for Jack, goal on leaving the inn with Danny whether Jack consents to come. Entering the parlor, she detects Jack's original copy left unattended close to the typewriter. She peruses what Jack has been composing, many pages of reiterations of a solitary sentence: a lack of work-life balance will drive a person crazy. She understands that Jack has gone frantic. Jack comes in from the other side and asks mockingly, "How would you like it?" Wendy screeches with caution and wheels around to confront him. A showdown follows as Jack requests to realize her goals in regards to leaving the inn with Danny, while Wendy withdraws, wielding the bat. She shouts at Jack not to hurt her, and he swears that he will not. All things being equal, he plans to kill her. Wendy hits Jack on the head with the bat at the highest point of a stairwell, making him lose his equilibrium and tumble down the flight of stairs, harming his lower leg all the while. Wendy hauls Jack's limp body to the storage space and locks him inside, similarly as he recaptures awareness. Jack tells her he has undermined the radio, as well as the snow feline, abandoning them for the most part. She goes outside to beware of the snow feline, and affirms everything he said to her. A couple of hours after the fact, Jack is stirred from a rest by the sound of Delbert Grady's voice. Grady communicates disillusionment and an absence of trust in Jack, yet Jack guarantees him he can take care of business in the event that allowed another opportunity. The storage room entryway then, at that point, unexpectedly opens. Wendy nodded off in her room. Danny is in a daze, conveying a blade and murmuring "red rum" more than once. He takes Wendy's lipstick and expresses "re-drum" on the restroom entryway. He starts yelling "re-drum," which wakes Wendy. She grips him, then, at that point, sees the impression of the washroom entryway in the mirror. Turned around, it peruses, "murder," right then and there. Banging sounds begin coming from the way to the foyer. The sound is Jack swinging a hatchet at the locked entryway. Wendy snatches Danny and secures them in the washroom. She opens a small, snow-banked window and pushes Danny out. He slides securely to the ground. She attempts to get out a similar window, yet can't fit. She advises Danny to quickly get away. In the interim, Jack has cleaved his direction through the front entryway and calls out, "Wendy, I'm home." Jack then, at that point, thumps courteously on the restroom entryway. Wendy holds the blade and attempts to consistent herself as Jack starts hacking into the entryway. Subsequent to slashing away one of the boards, he sticks his head through and shouts, "Here's Johnny." A reference to The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, 1962. Jack sticks his hand through the way to turn the lock. Wendy slices at him with a blade, cutting Jack's hand and sending him drawing back in torment. Jack keeps on hacking at the entryway with the hatchet until the two of them hear the low thunder of a coming snow feline motor. He follows out. The snow feline driver is Dick. Inside the inn, he calls out, however gets no answer. Jack, taking cover behind a point of support, jumps out and swings the hatchet into Dick's chest, killing him. Danny, concealing in a kitchen cupboard, shouts, uncovering his area. He gets out of the steel bureau and runs outside. In the interim, Wendy wandered from the washroom and started to look for Danny. The inn has sprung to life and presently even Wendy experiences its apparitions, locates that shock and appall her. Simultaneously, Hatchet using Jack transforms on the outside lights and follows Danny into the support labyrinth. Danny acknowledges he is leaving a path of impressions in the snow for Jack to follow. He cautiously follows his means, strolling in reverse in similar prints he'd recently made the other way, then covers his other tracks and takes cover behind a support. At the point when Jack shows up, he sees that the path of impressions closes suddenly, providing him no insight regarding which bearing Danny took. He picks away and sways further into the labyrinth. Danny emerges from his concealing spot and follows his own impressions back to the labyrinth's entry. Wendy advances out of the lodging similarly as Danny rises up out of the labyrinth. Alleviated, she throws down the blade and embraces him. Jack cries his disappointment from inside the labyrinth. Danny and Wendy burn through no time getting away from the snow feline that Dick used to get to the inn. Jack, tragically lost in the labyrinth, sticks to death. Just before the end credits, the camera gradually focuses on a wall in the inn brimming with old photos that narrate the lodging's set of experiences. An old recording of 12 p.m., The Stars, and You reverberates in the unfilled passage. In the focal point of one picture is a youthful Jack. The inscription peruses, Neglect Hotel, July 4th Ball, 1921. So companions, our story closes here. If you like this story then please subscribe the channel or like the video. Soon we will meet you with another new and intriguing story.